Which websites do you normally visit for political news on both sides? They literally label articles from different sites about the same topic. From the left, from the right, or from the center. If they write their own articles, they label the political leanings of the authors, of which they usually have two, one from each side. I'm frankly disappointed that they stole name idea for a website about people who never eat the main dish. That's okay, buddy, you could still start a subreddit. The Onion, getting the real, unbiased news. Are there only two sides? Welcome to American politics. My side and the wrong side are Skyrim, Stormcloaks and Imperials. Damn faithless Imperial. Skyrim belongs to the Nords. Not you. Pornhub comment section. Post nut clarity makes for the least biased news. Watch out for the bias news, though. I am old enough to remember when the networks broadcasted the news, not opinion. You would get almost the same information on top news stories whether you watched NBC, ABC or CBS. At the end of some broadcasts, they would have a reporter or station owner give an editorial. It was clearly presented as an editorial. This is an opinion. And this opinion does not necessarily express the opinion of the network. The issue isn't so much opinion versus fact, it's more about what facts are presented versus omitted. If news station A only reports good things about candidate A and bad things about candidate B, and news station B only reports bad things about A and good things about A, both of them have only told you objective facts. And yet there's still a bias. I feel like the difference now is that you can go online to websites E through Z and see any spectrum of opinions on those candidates and their policies and a billion other things. So you can more clearly see the bias. I agree, and it is not just the facts they choose T0 present or omit that creates bias. It is also the words they select and the images they select in telling the facts. I just replied to another comment with the example of how sources use different terminology to reference humans in the US illegally in an attempt to bias the viewer. Reuters for me as well. They don't report opinions, or their commentary, they report facts and what happened. You can form your own opinion. Takes the top story of the day and lays out just the facts at the top. Then summarizes the viewpoints of the left and right and backs it up with quotes from editorial sources on both sides. Great coverage of important and controversial topics and easy to digest in just a few minutes. Great place to go for a quick take from both sides of the aisle. NPR leans towards Democrat, but it's the only news source that I have seen correct false facts on both ends of the spectrum, monsieur. I also appreciate the fact that they try to interview sane people from both sides. And they correct false statements live but never shout. It's so. I also suggest Christian Science Monitor, also good fact-based journalist monsieur. I carefully cultivate a representative sample of outspoken liberal and conservative acquaintances in my Facebook friend list. They keep me apprised of what is circulating in their ecospheres. Honestly, I do this. I like to see what people are really thinking and believing. There are some people on both sides that boggle me with how gullible they'll share anything that confirms their worldview without even trying to fact-check. Like, no, they did not find 163 bodies of black people in that cop's basement. And no, Nancy Pelosi is not getting impeached. Haha, this is pretty funny because there's actually something called Pew Research Center that's known for their unbiased demographics and other things. PBS, NPR, BBC are probably my choices to minimize opinion versus news. When it comes straight to news, most wouldn't be too bad. It's the fact that most news channels are primarily opinion programming that I don't like. I try to make my own opinion as much as I can. Agree, AP and Reuters as well. It's helpful to look at the extremes so you can roll your eyes. I check Fox and CNN every day. I'm by no means a both sides centrist, but it helps to see bias. I think independent is more the left equivalent of Fox. As if 90% of Reddit does anything beyond read their echo chamber source. You're assuming 90% of Reddit gets past the headline, Christian Science Monitor. It sounds like it would be seriously biased. But it's actually a great non-biased source similar to Reuters in quality. The organization has won a few awards over the years. Politics, there is no bias on there. They never put emotion into their responses. And there is an even split between liberals and conservatives. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. This is a weird question. First, why do we frame issues with a two sides narrative? There are many points of view regarding many factors with political issues. Secondly, news isn't a both sides thing. Are they reporting the facts accurately? Well then, how does it fall to any side? Facts are facts. Accurate reporting is not liberal, conservative, libertarian, socialist, anarchist, or anything else. Just a weird question. Doesn't make much sense. I have found that different sources may be reporting the same story, but there is a slant to how it is reported. The terms used, the images selected, and the sense of importance slant a story. One common example is the terms used to describe humans who are in the US illegally. Some sources use terms emphasizing that they are human beings, while others use terms highlighting that they have broken the law. Undocumented immigrant, undocumented worker, immigrant, illegal immigrant, illegal alien, undocumented alien. Another is video of a protest the source chooses to air. One source more supportive of the protesters might choose clips of peaceful marching, chanting, inspirational signs, bonus for little kids participating. A source not supportive of the protesters might choose clips of someone throwing rocks, or hateful signs, or groups intimidating the bystanders. Exact, and terms like rebels, insurgents, etc., have a certain flavor to them, monsieur. Or the way in which Turkey would like you to call the Kurds in Turkey, Mountain Turks. If you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you watch the news, you're misinformed. Someone I heard at a coffee shop. If you ever hear people talk about the RCP average, this is where they're getting it from, monsieur. They aggregate polls, and they aggregate news, opinion pieces, editorials from a wide range of sites on issues every day. Reuters and NPR. I find Reuters to be the most unbiased of all the major political newspapers. The Economist, WSJ, and App, not Reddit. It sure would be nice to find a fact-only site, one that only tells me who, what, where, and when. Everything else is opinion. Bias begins when reporters thread their version of how, and why, into the story. The fact that Op had to even ask this question suggests how bad the problem really is. When you find one, let us know. Op. Associated Press.